Welcome into another podcast of Just Like Us.
Us.
I'm your host, Justin Burtis, my lovely co-host,
Letty Zito.
Welcome in, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at in the world. You could be anywhere, but you're here with us. We want to just say thank you for that. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. So let's get right to it. Today, we are going to be talking about stacking wins and staying grounded. Real life, real love, and real growth. Let's get into it. What do you think, lady?
I am ready to talk about our wins. They have been many.
Yeah.
And I am, it stems from consistency, hard work, working smarter, not harder, and learning what new skills and watching the people around us win. That has been the best thing ever, right? We're winning and people around us are winning. We have great people around us and have had most of our life, I would say.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't say most of my life. I haven't always had the most people I could look up to, so to speak. And one of our very close, one of my longest friends in the whole world that I've ever known for many, many years. He actually just recently was awarded Teacher of the Year. Now, shout out to Art Pacheco, my brother Steve. I call him Smeeve. This is something we've had since I was a kid. But his name is Arthur Pacheco, and he got Teacher of the Year out here in Reno, Nevada. And it was a really big deal because, I mean, if you have your friends that are close to you making these monumental achievements, it's always a plus, right? So I could say I have a very, very close friend. And he's not just a friend. This is my son's godfather,
right?
My daughter's stepdad, like legitimately one of my very closest friends I've ever had throughout my whole life. And we've stayed close for 40 years. It's been 40 years I've known him now. Can you guys believe that? I'm 42. We've known each other since we were 2 years old. Legitly. So, and it's really amazing to have people like this in your life that are doing big things, that are going places, and that are making the impact like this. So what happened was he was awarded the Teacher of the Year, and Letty's daughter Jada was graduating. We didn't really know this was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not really like the type to brag about stuff and like make a big deal out of things. But to me, this is a huge deal. He knows this about me. Like when it comes to success and accomplishments, I'll be the first one to cheer you on. I'll be the first one to show up and make sure that I'm there for you. And we had a podcast that day, but Letty was fortunate enough to go and see her daughter Jada graduate college, which shout out to Jada for graduating TMCC, which is Truckee Meadows Community College. And they honored Arthur with this award of the Teacher of the Year. Not only did he get Teacher of the Year, what else did he get?
That was it. He got Teacher of the Year, and he also got to give a speech to all the graduating class of 2025 from TMCC for the night. And he did a phenomenal job. He really did. It was very authentic. And he just talked about where he came from, how he got here, and how, Truckee Meadows was real for him and how real it is for the students who graduated that day and what it did for him. I mean, he's a calculus teacher. And everywhere he goes, he runs into students, he runs into people that know him and love him. And those are the type of people, right, that we have around us. And we're just so thankful. We want to shout out Arthur Pacheco, but I'd also like to shout out his wife, the woman behind the man, which is Sheena Pacheco. We love you. Those are his godparents, and we're just really grateful. Like they have been with us, like they have celebrated wins and losses with us, and they're more than just friends to us, right? They're family. I mean, through it all, they have really shown up for us when we needed it.
Yeah, even Justin's graduation the other day.
Yeah,
we're talking about celebrations and wins. Justin's graduation was the other day, and everybody. It was during work hours. Everybody had to work, but the people who made it were able to make it. They showed up, and so we had a great event with Justin graduating. So, and again, this episode is talking about the wins. The celebration of life, the celebration of success, and having those people who are making impact around you, as opposed to not so much the people that maybe maybe putting more stress than helping. So this is a shout out to all the people that's around us and anybody that's helped you along the way that wants to see you win and continue to grow. So this one's to all you people out there that are staying close to your kin and the people that you love, showing them that you care, supporting them along the way, and letting them know that, you know, it's always a plus to have your family around you. And because we all know that means something. It's an impact when people show up for you, when you know, when you want that support, and it always feels good. So
right. And it was such a blessing, you know, while we were there. Like I said, it was a surprise. I actually ran into his mom as we were, you know, coming in, Aunt Mary. And I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And so she was telling us what Steve was doing and what, you know, she was there for. And I was like, oh my gosh, my daughter's graduating, you know. And even my daughter, when he came out on stage afterwards, right, she was like, oh my God, I know that guy. And to see that come full circle, right, he started there and has just had an incredible career as a teacher, right? He takes that position very seriously, but not seriously. I mean, he puts his heart and soul into it, and you can see it when we go out and people are, you know, reacting and responding to him. They know him, they like him, and they trust him. Yeah. And, you know, he helps out with sports, and he's just an all around, you know, good guy. And so we're blessed to know him. And so for that to come full circle and have him be Teacher of the Year and give this incredible speech, and have my daughter in the audience, right, getting to sit there and listen to, you know, him give this speech, she was very touched. And so I just want to thank you. Who
is in the building, y'all? Welcome in. How you doing, sister? Glad to have you here with us. You know, we're talking about Duania. We're actually talking about the wins and celebrating. So we're talking about, we just had Arthur Pacheco, which is Justin's godfather. How he was up on stage and he was invited to be, you know, the Teacher of the Year. And we're talking about Justin graduating, as well as we had Julia just graduated. My daughter Julia just graduated. Duania had the, you know, the pleasure of raising this little girl, this beautiful young Julia Lee Smith. Shout out to my daughter Julia and Duania for being, you know, the really the impact that she needed in her life, you know. So thank you, Duania, for being here. And we're shouting out to all the people who supported those for their wins and helping them grow and to getting where they've gotten. And Justin's, you know, from his godfather to his godmother who's helped see him, to Julie's graduation. And, you know, we just got back from Duania's house, who's on here right now. And, you know, it was really a phenomenal trip. It was me, Brea, and little Justin. Shout out to Richard, man. Shout out to Richard and Duania. I think they're both on here. We love you guys so much. What a great time we had. Thank you guys for putting us up and allowing us to stay at you guys' house. And what a lovely house they had. It was just a very fun time. You know, it was a very fun time. It was our first time ever being out there to Michigan. Me, Bray, and little Justin, we had a fun time. Our plane was late. There's so many things that could have went wrong, but we made it there. We had a blast. And again, Duania and Richard might say, you know, it was kind of tight space, you know, it could, but again, for the great things that we made it there. Yes. The graduation was awesome. Amen. We all were there as a family, and we got to spend time together, and we got to interact, and we got to, you know, spend time getting to know each other. So, and, you know, shout out to Duania and Richard for allowing us to stay there and putting us up and being able to, you know, to let us, you know, to bless us with their presence and be able to, you know, be the family that you guys are. So again, this episode is shouting out to the parents and the families and the brothers and the sisters and the moms and dads,
the whole village,
their family and friends along the way for their success. And Julia, you know, she's track and field star, and she did great. I think she missed the finals, the state finals, by 0.02 seconds, which is a very just by a hair. She barely missed it. So, but the point is that she was actually a runner-up for a state, and that was awesome. So shout out to Julia. And again, this is just shout out to all the people just showing love and respect and want to see their family continue to grow. And again, we had Arthur, we had Justin, we had Julia. Who else do we have out there that we want to shout out? That's had the graduation or celebrating success, because we've had a lot of them lately, and I don't want to miss anybody.
Jada,
Jada's her daughter. So again, yes, this is to all our people who are continuously growing. Like Letty and I don't know if you guys see the light in the back, but we're doing bigger things.
Y'all? I love it. That green.
We're doing more and more. We're pouring into ourselves, and we're really how do you say, we are investing in ourselves on a daily, you know what I mean? We're pouring in ourselves, make sure that we're getting what we need. But shout out to Dewani and Richard. Thank you guys for being here. Yes, let's go. He said, what up? Love you, Justin. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Cool. Okay, so let's see here. We had, again, a great week. This has been a great week, great past couple weeks, celebrating all the success and all the fun times we've had. Dewani said, looks great, Letty. Oh, she's talking about the lights. Awesome. Yes. And again, like we said, we just keep upping our game little by little. We got the mic here. We got the new stuff. We're proud of it. You know what I mean? You guys can't really see the whole room. Next week, we got we're going to have the what's it called? The tablecloth and some more things. We're going to have it set up real nice. So we'll just keep on downloading it in. But again, this is really celebrating the family and people staying close to the fire to help us. And I wanted to say, what about some of our wins? Okay, I mean, besides, up in our podcast game here, right, with the lights. James Wellborn is in the building. Whatnot. Okay, yeah. But what about some of our wins? I mean, we're getting teeth fixed, right? Yeah, absolutely. We're cleaning out that garage. Yeah. Do any of you know what I'm talking about? Like, I know James does. I definitely know Dewani does. I'm sure Richard does too. Just cleaning out our spaces, right? Letting go of the old so we can make room for the new. Yeah. These are all successes. It's not all about like I said, this one big thing. Like, purpose to me, it's every single day. It's how you show up every day, how you walk in your purpose every day. Like, one day might be, you're smiling at people, or maybe you're engaging in conversation with complete strangers, or even people that you know, right? Right, yeah. What you have to say, what you bring to the table, to any table, make sure you're bringing value. Right. But most of all, make sure you're bringing value to yourself. Right? Because absolutely. Once you do that, automatically you bring value everywhere you go. Yeah. And and so it's been exciting. It really has been to go out to the garage and like, hey, I'm making progress, right? I don't have to tackle it all in one day. That's a big one. Yeah. Right there. Let's go. And right there. Super excited. Shout out to James Wellborn for pointing us physically and emotionally. Out spaces, yes, clean out spaces. Right. That's right. Yeah. So like Dewani said, physically and emotionally clean out spaces, because we all know that if we got a cluttered house, we got a cluttered mind, right? And Letty's been teaching me this, because I'm telling you, I'm the type I'm messy. I ain't dirty, but I'm messy. You know what I mean? I got a dirty mouth, but I'm clean. Okay. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, it feels good to have a nice, clean place. Letty, she's a clean freak. Me, I'm just like, I come in, throw my jacket on the couch, and Letty's like, you gonna hang it up? And I'm like, it'll hang itself up. You know what I mean? But and so who's with me? We really we complement each other in so many ways. I fix the stuff, she cleans the stuff. I break the stuff, she helps me get it together. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that we complement each other on, and it just feels good to have some clarity, some cleanness. Because again, I just stopped using a year and a half ago, you guys. I'm just being real. Like, I just stopped using a year and a half ago. And for me, it's made a huge impact for me to have clarity, the room, the space, and just like that, the cleanliness is just next to cleanliness is next to godliness, and I can see why. Our room is clean because of Letty. Like, we get this whole room up, and I feel great. Get them, girls. Dewani said, yeah. Okay, so someone has to. How about you guys? What are some wins that you guys have had? Anybody want to chime in and let us know? What are some things that you guys have had recently occur, or something that some people you can claim for success, or some things that you guys want to be positive on? There's so many good things out there. It seems like nowadays it's more like the negative is perceived to be the positive, and the positive seems to be the negative in a sense. But I don't want to look at my life like that. Like, the positive to me is like me, but I woke up. That's a good enough reason for me to be happy. So the rest of the day, I'm able to form around. My heart's still pounding. I got blood flowing through my body. I'm able to use all my phalanges. I can blink. My mouth's got water. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I have the ability to eat, poop, function right, all the basics that we take for granted, you guys. Right. I know I had a buddy of mine who had cancer. And he had cancer, and it had to do with how he pooped. And you don't think of these things, but I'm just grateful that I have everything in my body functioning. Can you imagine not being able to pee and have like a catheter, or having like a colostomy bag? So, like, you can all imagine that. So to me, I'm excited to have not only life, but life with purpose and everything I need to function. Thank you, God, for my vision. Thank you, God, for my hearing. I have good hearing, good sight, good sense, good smell, and like so. I'm excited to be here and have all these things working for me. You know what I mean? You feel me on that one, lady?
I do definitely feel you on that one, Justin. And you know, just to reiterate, right, some of our wins. Like I had somebody that I went to high school with, and I won't name any names. He knows who he is, but he reached out to me on Messenger and just thanked Justin and I for doing what we're doing. And this podcast, right? And for coming on here and being so candid and asked for prayer. And so I just texted a prayer right there on the spot for him. And he came back and thanked us again, right? For being there for him, and just kind of shared some of his struggles that he's been going through. And I was able to share with him because I could understand the struggle that he shared with me. I've been through it too. And I was able to share some things that I've used, right, to help me get through where he's at right now. And he just was so grateful and so thankful, and even just for that one that reached out, and for all of you that join us on here. You know, we say it every podcast, right? Your story matters, right? And our story matters, and together, like, we're unstoppable, right? This is about, you're gonna watch us grow and learn, and you know, we're not embarrassed or ashamed to make mistakes on here. You know, I used to be, I don't know about you, Justin, but I used to be. Yes, mended relationships
are a huge win for us right now, because I mean, we've all had broken relationships. I mean, if you haven't, they're not fun. You know, I'm sure you've had your struggles and trials and tribulations with relationships with people and friends and family. But you know, mending them is, I think, key. You know, you can go about your whole life staying in a bad mood and just, you know, forget that person and being negative about it. But I think it's when you really stand up and say, you know what, I would really like to mend this, and I commend you for being the mended relationship that you have going on with you, Dewanya. And also, we got, what do we got here? We got Jordan. Jordan said, "Hey,"
and I just want to say that those mended relationships, sometimes it can get messy.
It
can get messy while you're, you know, developing the message in that messiness. I mean, we've had our, you know, fair share of messy, but we have a message, and it is of forgiveness and, you know, working together to accomplish those dreams and the goals and the life that we have and that we want together, right? It takes a team. It does take a village, and I have a village. We have a village around us in so many, you know, arenas of life. You know, we're in so many communities and villages where we just have people pouring into us and loving on us, and we just release the ones with love who are not, and that's okay. Maybe they're not ready, right? But I think the most important relationship that you get to mend, right, is the one with yourself. For me, that has been a game changer, right? The relationship with myself.
Right,
yes.
Dewanya says, meeting Justin, Brea, and baby Justin was a win. Richard and I love y'all, man. We had a fantastic time with you guys.
Wish I could have been there. Wish I would have gone. But I stayed back and held the fort down here. And so
and it was a good time for me to spend time with my children. You know what I'm saying? Not that it wouldn't have been better if Letty was there, but it was a really good bonding time for me and my kids. I got a lot of photos. We had a lot of fun. We went down to the beach. You know, we went bowling. You know, we ate. We feasted together. Feasted, I should say, and it was great. We had a really, really great time. And again, like for them, they put us up and they allowed us to stay in their home, and it was what a beautiful home they have. So and Dewanya says, me too, but next time, Letty. Yes, so
I will be there.
And yes, so again, this is all about celebrating life and celebrating success and like being thankful for the things that we have now, because I mean, we're not gonna be able to take this money with us. We're not gonna be able to take all these things with us when we go. And so you might as well spend the way you got it, have fun with the people you can now, enjoy it, and be happy for your health. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, or the end of our life, if you're on your deathbed, you know, the one thing that you're gonna want is family. You know, you're not gonna want all this luxury stuff. You're not gonna want this money. You're not gonna want anything else but your family. Can you guys say amen to that? You guys attest to this, because I had my mom here. She passed away right where we're sitting. And, you know, it was a bittersweet, because at least we were able to see my mom. It wasn't like she died in a car accident and we weren't able to say goodbye to her. We got to say farewell to her and build memories and have a lot of fun with her, you know, but at the same time, it was one of those things where You had to watch your mom die. You know what I mean? We had to wipe my mom. We had to make sure that she was nice and clean, and we didn't have to do anything, but we were able to do this. So it was a blessing, and just want to be thankful for even the hardest shifts, the hard things that you would think that, I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of things that we take for granted. There's a lot of things that we don't really understand or appreciate until it's gone. Like, you got working phalanges until you have arthritis and you've never been. Or you got a one working eye, one looking up left or looking down. I'm just saying, we got good things right now. Take advantage of what we have and be grateful for those things, because there's people out there that I opened the door for the guy, like I said in the last episode. I opened up the door for the guy in the wheelchair, and he was upset. And I had to really think of why, and he was upset with me. He's like, man, I don't need you helping me open this door. I got it. And I was like, man, F you. You know what I mean? I didn't tell him that, but I felt like saying that, like, man, you're ungrateful little. But I had thought about it, and I didn't react like that. Thank God, because I had thought about it, and who knows what this guy's gone through? Who knows what he's had happen to him? So this episode is really about being grateful for the people around us, the family that we do have that show up. There's people right now that they'll go their whole life and not have relationships like we have, you guys. And it's important to think about that, but it's true. Why do we think about it? Why do we say it? Because we're fortunate to have the family that we do have, you guys. There's a lot of people, like I said, that don't have that stuff. So, I just feel great about being able to be here and talk on this in front of you guys. So, Deandra, celebrating life. Let's go. Jordan and Deandra's in the building.
What did he say? Okay. A relationship worth keeping is worth fighting for. So like Letty said, every journey is worth the struggle. It is. And it's in that struggle. Like, we want so bad to, I don't want the struggle. I don't want the struggle. But it's in that struggle, right? Just like the butterfly, their transformation happens in that struggle. And so if we can just get through it without causing any more struggle or any more damage, and get through the pain together, right? And individually, then, we're going to have a beautiful relationship. And let's be honest, there's days I'm like, I don't know, Lord, I don't know. You are going to have to help me on this one.
I'll tell you guys what. Go ahead. No, you first. My bad. I have, so there was a point not too long ago where I was depressed, right? And I mean, I'm sure we've all had a little bit of depression. If not, it's not fun. Depression was uncomfortable. It was like, I didn't really know how to, need to function and go about my daily business. And so, but one thing I learned about it was, I obviously don't want to be depressed. I don't know if that's what it was, but I can only assume that this dark feeling of just wanting to be alone, kind of wanting to cry, I can only assume that it was depression. And so for me, what happened was, I felt like I could either go run to something else to try to alleviate the pressure or the stress, or I can deal with it. And so I sat with this depression, and it was a couple days, Lady? It was a couple days here and there, right? So I was over a month period, 2 month period. It was a few days where I was just like, man, I don't like this. I felt like I wanted to cry a lot, in a dark place. And I sat with you guys. What I did was, instead of me trying to figure out what I could do to fix it, I'm assuming that God put this here for me to have, not to go run to something else like I've done in the rest of my life. Majority of my life, I never had depression because I didn't know what it was, because I probably never gave myself the time. I think it can be a good thing. And again, I'm not saying depression is good, but I think what I was able to do was, instead of going getting pills or a bottle or beer or drugs or even nicotine, I just sat with it, and I didn't allow myself to go try to figure it out. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to let this take its course. And it felt really good when I woke up the next morning and I didn't have that, because I was so glad I didn't go run to something to get that feeling and put it away. I think maybe depression is there for a reason, and I don't know exactly why or what. I'm just saying, for me, it helped me through that struggle to get over this, to say, hey, I don't need substance. I don't need these things to really take me away, because if I love life so much, why would I even take myself away for even a second?
I was going to say what Deandra, who we had on our show with her husband, shout out to Jordan, said, depression is your soul telling you you're going the wrong way. I was almost done reading that. Your dream is in the other direction. And I can attest to that, because I don't know that it was, maybe it was depression or just sadness, just feeling down. Like, I know I'm not going in the right direction. Right. And I know that there's another way for me to go. And I just started to reach out to God and really seek him. And I don't think we're ever done seeking him. Right. The point is, seek him. Who is he to you? To me, he's everything. He's everything to me, because he pulled me out of that that dark place, but I didn't go through it by myself.
Right.
I went through all of those emotions, the grief, the rage, the anger, the sadness, the just the depression, the way, the way my mind was thinking. I could see that I had thinking errors and I didn't know what to do, but he started to just lead me to read certain things or listen to certain music, or, certain podcasts would start popping up for me. And I just started to follow the breadcrumbs to the light and come out of the light, right. And, be able to create this life with my creator by my side, living inside of me. That's where my confidence comes from. It comes from the one who lives inside of me.
Right? Look at Jordan says, my wife always says she wouldn't change anything from the past because that's what created our present. Both the good and the bad is what created your future. And I love that. You know why? Because, you could look at it as a kind of like a way of just like dealing with things, like, hey, I'm here because of all my things in the past. Or you could really embrace that and say, you know what, like I'm proud of who I am right now. Yeah. And one thing that somebody said, I think I don't know if it was Jordan and DeAndre, but somebody had said, good thing that it was before that. He said before you guys went through what you're going through before you get the millions. Thank God you went through what you're going through. What's his name?
Was it Desmond?
Not Desmond.
Leo.
Leo said, thank God we gone through what we went through before we got the millions. So we can you imagine being a millionaire and then finding drugs? You know what I mean? Like you have the best drugs in the world. Who knows? That's probably why a lot of these people overdose. But what I'm saying is to say is like, it's good to have our things in the past to look at, but it's also good to look to the future too, because we wouldn't be where we're at without our past, right? But again, I also at the same time, if I wouldn't have dealt with, or if I wouldn't have gotten into drugs, I would have been probably a lot more successful many, many years ago. But I wouldn't have little Justin. I wouldn't have Bray. I probably wouldn't have, any Julie. I wouldn't have any of my, so I'm just saying things do happen for a great, fantastic reason, especially if you allow yourself to look at things in that positive way. You know what I mean? If you're constantly beating yourself down, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I'm looking at like, man, I'm so glad I went through what I went through when I did. Yeah. Now I can focus on the good things and stay positive. And my dentist told me today, he said, he told me this straight up. Shout out to Dr. Kwong Cyrus. He said, I'm gonna tell you something, Justin. He's working on my tooth. He's almost done. He's like, you are one of two people that are super positive in my life. And as soon as I heard him say that, I was like, what about your wife? He tells me, you come in here with this positive attitude like nobody else. Yeah. And he's like, you and there's this one other guy I want to introduce you. And he's like, you're always positive, you're always upbeat. And I was like, that is me. I wake up in a good mood on purpose, y'all. I'm not just like this. I'm just like energetic. I mean, I wake up intentionally in a good mood on purpose. I give Liddy a kiss. I give Justin a hug, make sure that they know that I see them. And I'm extremely excited to be here. Can you imagine this universe without me to see it? Can you imagine me without this universe to see? You know what I mean? It's like a evolving doors. Like we need one without the other. You got to have the good to have the bad. And if not, like, can you imagine just an all good life? Like Letty tells me something. She says, not everything's always good. And I'm like, I beg to differ, but she's right, because I've been through the struggles. You guys, I'm sure we all have. We've been through some hard times. And I know what it's like to not have a light switch. I know what it's like not to have a home. I know what it's like to live homeless and not to have hot water and these essentials that we take for granted. But we're paying for these, guys, right? We're paying for this stuff. We're working our butts off and paying for this stuff. So yes, Letty, that's exactly. Dang, we okay here. Let's see here. Yeah. She said, DeAndre says, yes, Letty, that's exactly how you find the truth. Right. And shout out to everybody who's in here. You should be so proud of your journey. You are touching lives with your truth. That's right. You know what I mean? We're showing up for us. We're extremely excited to have every one of you guys here, because again, we want to make impact, and we're glad that you guys are making impact on us like this, because all these little wins are wins for all of us. Because if we can all win together, then that says a lot, right?
It does say a lot.
It does.
Really, really does. Like what did Jordan say?
You're fired up.
You're fired up and high.
Go, baby. That's DeAndre right there. Let's go. Jordan says, okay, let's see what Jordan says. Jordan says, what you create out of your experiences is your journey that you decide every step of the way. Either decide to push forward and improve, or succumb to circumstances. One thing I want to say about this couple right here, you guys, okay, we got DeAndre and we got Jordan. They were on last week, and they taught us some really valuable stuff. Okay, they were talking about how their experiences they share with their children. And instead of like going into the room and talking about things in a certain way, they allow themselves to talk about these things in front of their children, so that their children can have the experience with them. And I thought that was very valuable because
too.
what we were taught as kids, or what we're still we learn, is you take your adult stuff, you go in the room, you talk about it, and leave the kids out. Let them be kids.
I'm just saying, for me as a kid, like the why I have so much wisdom and why I see the world the way I do is because, like, people call me an old soul, and that's because I was always surrounded by adults, by people older than me. I was always very observant. I would listen to the conversations that they were having, and I did avoid a lot of those pitfalls, right, that they found themselves in. And I had to have this pitfall that I walked right into. At 19. At 20, I got married. I met my first and only husband at 19, got married at 20, and, stopped partying and wound up in my 40s, really going heavy into substance use of all kinds. And I had to go down that road. How can I help anybody else if I don't even know what I'm talking about? And I've been there. We've been there firsthand. So we know. I had to go through all the mental, struggles of getting myself out of that dark place by seeking the truth about what I was feeling and thinking, and how could I change that? How could I evolve from there? What by keeping eyes on my own paper, not comparing myself to Justin or anybody else. I mean, I got, clean and sober while he was still using substance.
Yeah.
And it's because I wanted it. I knew that it was time. I knew that all of that seeking and all of that crying and, crying out to God, seeking his face and asking him, how do I stop hurting myself and the people that I love? Right. And he answered, and he continues to answer. The answers are within you. They're inside of you. You already have everything that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And Deandra says vulnerability is such a powerful teacher. And I will tell you something about that as well, that vulnerability, that was my mantra last year, was like, vulnerability is my superpower. It really was, because being able to be a male and be vulnerable is not something that I grew up with. It was not the way of living for a male. You had to be strong, you had to be tough. And if you showed any kind of weakness, you were looked at as, weak. And so vulnerability is a powerful teacher, because you can learn from it.
I would like to add to that and just say that even as a woman, right, we're supposed to be soft. And I never really got to be soft. I was very much like in my masculine energy, right? And I'm becoming softer. And that's because I grew up, just period, male or female, that you had to be strong, you had to be tough. You couldn't show emotion. And so I learned to mask that. And today, right, I'm starting to keep my heart open. And when it's open, I mean, the things that God shows me and tells me with the world around me is such a gift. If you just take the time and stop thinking about how horrible your life is, those things are happening for you. And when you allow that to sink in and see the lesson, ask that pain, ask that struggle. What is the lesson in all of this? You're going to get it. And then you can, ride the wave, like just ride the wave. That's what I have to say.
And again, this is where we're celebrating the people who's close to us. Shout out to everybody here. Again, it matters. This kind of stuff matters. Like when you're in this position where you're able to go and, put a platform, get on a platform such as this, and people show up for you. To me, it says that people want to see you win. You know what I mean? Absolutely. They stay the whole time. That the people that are willing to take the time out of their life to come and view what you're doing, it means a lot. You know what I mean? It does. And even if there was nobody here, we would still show up.
Still do it.
Because that's how we are. We're doing this not only for ourselves, because we're being consistent, and we're learning every time we do this. When we first started, we weren't dressed up. We were, kind of like everywhere with the words. Now we got a lot more structure, and we're still not. We're just getting started, you guys. So, and it's not about us, it's because all of you guys are really, in one way or another, just like us.
That's right.
Really. That's why we made this podcast and named it Just Like Us.
Yeah.
Because we feel like there's so many people that can relate, that we can relate to you guys. And I think as a unit, as a whole, we can all pour into each other. This is why we have You know, people that's come up on here. We've had DeAndre and we've had Jordan come up. I would love to get Dwanya up here. You know, Richard, shout out to them, man. What a beautiful couple. You know, and so we want to be able to pour into you guys too. Let's get you guys noticed and get out here and let people hear your guys' story and things that you guys got going on, because it's important to feel heard and to be felt and have people understand, hey, you're not alone. We're in this together. You know what I mean? So see, that's right, Letty. You can't teach. That's right, Letty. You can teach from theory. Experience gives you empathy. You can't teach from theory.
Teach from theory, but from experience.
And intentionally is an amazing mindset. Intentionally being happy isn't an easy path, but choosing to do so is a decision of the mind and a work in progress every single day.
That being intentional, like I am intentional every day. Like with everything that I do, the thoughts that I think, and if there's thoughts I don't like, I look at them, release them, and set an intention for better thoughts, and I just start to feel better. And you know, and just the way that I interact with the world around me, it's very, very intentional, right? It just brings me to life, and it brings everyone else and everything else around me to life, and there's vibrancy, and there's love, and there's joy, and there's peace, and not everybody is ready for that, and that's okay. Those of you that are here with us.
That part,
right? And then we will leave that legacy for the people that, you know, come after that, you know, this is what they want. And at some point, we're all gonna go through this transformation. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to create. We're meant to have an amazing life on this earth, right here, right now, not just in the one to come, you know, but right here, right now. We get to decide whether we want to have heaven or hell right here, right now. And it leading with your heart, I think, you know, because for somebody like me, I can get stuck in my head. I can overthink and overanalyze things. It depends. Sometimes it's an asset, sometimes it's a liability, right? And I get to navigate this, but not alone. That's the beautiful part of it. I am never alone, but I do enjoy my own company. I enjoy the company of other people, but I do enjoy my own company. I really do. Like, ask Justin, you'll catch me singing, dancing here. Heck yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got to rehearse.
You know what I'm saying? We are meant for amazing life. Heaven and hell are a choice. And again, like, no matter what you've done in your life, I'm a perfect example of you can go from doing dirt. Like I never really physically hurt people doing the things I did in the past, but I bet you, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I used to, when I was younger, I would go into people's homes at night when they were sleeping and like, you know, I'll ransack some stuff and rob it. I mean, but very quietly. And if I can change, so can anybody else, right? Like, I mean, even when you look at people like Diddy, and I don't know if I can say that and not get in trouble on here, but I mean, you got people that are doing some heinous crimes and things that are terrible, but even God has room for them up there, you know what I mean? So at any point in time, like, judging people is not my job. I'm not here to judge people. I just want to make sure that I'm holding the people that are close to me dear, and that they're the people that want to see me win. I want to see them win as well. And for the people who aren't, they're busy in life, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm going this way. I have room for the people who want to make room for me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm not open as I was before to just like let anybody in my life. You know what I mean? My circle is very tight knit, small, and I'm able to choose my friends. Because growing up the way I didn't really have that choice. I didn't think. You know what I mean? It's all about your environment, how you grew up. I feel so now as an adult, I'm like, miss me with that. If it's not something positive or something that can help me benefit my life that I can pour into other people. Because again, right now, where I'm at is I have my cup is half full. But when it's full, money in the right hands, it's not about the money, but it's about being able to do more in your life to be able to help people. Look at Keanu Reeves and celebrities that have made hundreds of millions of dollars, and they give most of it away. They donate it to cancer and the societies that help out the world. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to make an impact.
Like a philanthropist?
Yes, philanthropist. In fact. So, and it feels good to do things, even with Letty and I, you know, the little things like, you know, we're good tippers. We like to donate. We like to do certain things that I'm sure all of us like to feel good about giving. You guys, if you ever see somebody on the corner holding a sign, it's not every time, but I do give to them, and I feel good about it because it is to me, I want to help them out, but I'm doing it for me too. You know what I mean? I'm doing it for, I want to feel good about helping out too. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to say about giving, you know, as well as receiving.
There's so many ways to give. right? Of your time, of your talents, your money, and people appreciate it. And then, there's something about receiving too, right?
Yeah.
You're allowing other people to be a blessing to you because you both receive when you allow that magic to happen between, two people or a community. Right. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. And Letty's mom taught me something one time. She said, she gave me a gift for my birthday, and it was some money. It was a good amount of money. She's like, and I didn't spend it for like a year, right? I didn't spend it. I don't know. I felt kind of a little bit bad because I don't know why, but she's like, you know what? I gave you that gift because I wanted to give it to you. You know what I mean? And she's like, don't go take my gift away from me. And she said it firmly, but she had a good point. She was like, you may not want it, but I want to give it to you. And she made a good point. And I'm like, okay. So, and that sank in. And then, so I don't necessarily feel bad when people want to gift me or give me something because they feel like, I deserve it, or they want to just give me something. So I've learned along the way that not every time somebody's giving you something, it's like, what do you want? Or like, what did I do to deserve this? It's just like, allow people to give you stuff. It's good. It's okay to accept gifts and to give them as well. So, and a gift doesn't have to be something with money monetarily, or, making gifts, or just your gift is a present. Or your presence is
your presence is the gift. That's right. I love that one.
Where's one? She was like trying to get this one down.
And D, what did you say? What was that post that we had earlier about kindness? It was such a good post that I saw. Kindness is not a plug for what? Oh, come on, D, help me out. It was a really good post that you had posted. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
nice.
Where you at, Deandra? Giving a beautiful. What say? Giving.
It was it was talking about
exchange of energy.
Giving is right, and that kindness is not a transaction; it's a gift. Yeah, that's what it was. Because sometimes when we give, right, we can feel obligated. If somebody gives something to us, then we feel sometimes obligated
reciprocation
to give back. But you might not be giving back to that person in the moment, but there's also an art to receiving. That's what I'm saying. At some other time, that's just the way that it is. It's like I watched this. I went to the dentist yesterday, to the same dentist. Shout out to Dr. Kwong. And we had Netflix on, and I was watching the planet Earth.
I was watching that too.
Were you? Yeah. And so there were these birds, and I don't remember what kind of birds they were, but when they're born, these little chicks, they can't fly yet, and their whole meal source is in the ocean. Everything they need is right there when they're born, but they can't fly, so they can't get to it. So they have to, everything is right there that they need in the ocean, their food, and they have to find a way to get there on foot. And so traveling at night is safer for them because, they get hidden from the predators, but there's a lot more obstacles until they can learn how to fly. Right. And that's just like us, like everything we need is literally, it's right here in front of us. And some of us, don't know how to fly quite yet, but we can navigate through that darkness till we find that light and then, take in everything that we need.
Jordan says, yes, Justin, our circumstances when we were younger affect who we are. So if you better be the person you are now, mind, body, spirit relationship that will create massive waves in the future and your future generation. That's absolutely right.
And that is what we want. We talk a lot about it, right? It's not just leaving a legacy of wealth, but a legacy of love. And, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And they're going to remember. They're going to remember how you made them feel. They're not going to care that your house was messy or disheveled or even if it was super clean, right? Even people when you're out, like you look at someone and it's like looking in a mirror, you forget what you've looked at. We're so afraid, oh my God, these people are thinking about me and how do I look and what am I saying? And they're gonna forget just like they do everything else. Right. So keep going anyway. Just keep showing up for yourself. Say what you need to say. It's important. Say what you need to say. God, we need to sing for them one time. One time. Anyway.
Every time you give, you're giving to everyone. Every time you give, you're giving to everyone. It doesn't matter who the recipient is. We all receive when we give. I love that.
That is
good one, Deandra.
Beautiful.
I love that. Yeah. What a fantastic, beautiful couple you guys are. What a great time we had on with you guys last week. Man, what a fun time. I love the way your guys' mind works. They were on last week and just had some valuable things.
Absolutely.
How they looked at things. Desmond soon came in to the chat and was able to chat with us and give some feedback, and we had a great time. We got to have you guys on again soon, because you guys have a great story as well.
Absolutely.
So you guys, just how you guys carry yourself and what you guys do. So shout out to Deandra and Jordan for being here and being a huge part of our being in the chat for sure. So say what you need to say.
Right. And we just want to remind you too, I've posted it in our description on Facebook for this podcast, right? You have our email address and our open phone number. You can always, hit us up in the chat. You can hit us up, DM or private message us through Messenger on either one of our pages. And we're also on YouTube.
Yes.
Right? So you can catch the replay. If you didn't catch it live, you can catch the replay. Give us some shout out, right? Some feedback, and let us know how we're doing.
If y'all want to be a guest, if you guys have anybody that that we a good guest on here, we're gaining traction. It was on average about 400 to 700 views per episode, and we're on 56 right now. It's 56 or 57. We've been doing it for 6 months, twice a week, every single week. Haven't missed a beat, not once. Have we missed an episode? I think we've gotten every episode in one way or another, somehow, some way, which is, again, why we're here. We're making impact, but we're showing up for ourselves. And in that, we're showing up for you guys, which you guys are feeding back into us, which is it's a circle of life. It feels like it's necessary to have you guys showing up and for us to be able to pour into you guys. And we're just continuing to do more and get better at what we're doing. So, right before I got here, I had my teeth. I got the dentist doing my teeth, and my teeth right here, the front ones came out. And I was like, dang, how am I going to do it? But I made it happen, y'all. No lisp or nothing. I'm just saying. So we're here. We're showing up regardless. We're dressing up. We're making sure that we're feeling good, doing what we're doing. And I think it matters because, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you're able to, that ripple effect. People are able to see it in you and feel good as well. So, you're doing amazing. This is what Jordan or Deandra said. You're doing amazing authenticity. So, okay. Well, we want to say thank you to everybody for being here. Shout out to everybody who was here in the chat. Richard, Deandra, Jordan, Dewanya. We have a couple more other people in here, but thank you for everybody who showed up here and supported us. Yet again, if you guys want to join at some point and be a guest, let us know. You guys have our phone number. You have our email. You guys got here in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling and what we could do better. You know what I mean? So we appreciate all you guys bringing your A game. That's right. Bringing your A game, the ripple effect. Let's go. Shout out to you both. Anything else you want to close out with?
Gosh, no, I think we covered it all.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys again for being here. We go live 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesdays and Fridays every single week. Without a doubt, we don't miss a beat. Coming with the heat. We're here with you, not against you. And, let us know how you guys feel. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks again for showing up.
Love you.
Until Friday. Have a good one, you guys. Love y'all.